Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I have kind of a whole collection of knives here, all made by Gavko, also known as Gavko Knives. So in this video, I guess we'll be taking a look at the maker as a whole and showcasing some of the more rare pieces that I do have here with me. These three right here are on loan from my friend CJ, who is Blitz310 on Instagram, so thanks so much CJ, I really appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be taking a look at it as a whole, talking about Gavko Knives, and showcasing the more rare pieces. I do have videos on most of the other ones here. But, format will probably follow that of another YouTube channel called Mindless Maiko 7. If you guys haven't heard or seen his channel, it's pretty much all Grails, and he does this type of format quite a bit. So definitely check him out. A great channel if you like high-end custom knives. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into some of these then. So again, some of these you've already seen, such as this one, which was my first custom Gavko here. And this is a Maiko concealed carry S110V. Really exceptional piece, certainly one of the favorites of my collection, but just briefly go over what makes a Maiko so special, or Mike Gavko's work so special. A number of things, but the first is probably ergonomics. Just melt in your hand ergonomics. Excellent materials, S110V, titanium handles. Just beautiful work all the way around. Great customer service. This thing's rock solid, flips wonderfully. So, and that's something that can pretty much be said of, well, it can be said of all his knives. Just really cool designs, really unique, high-performing knives that can usually take a beating for the most part. So, this was my first, and this was what, launched me into my obsession. So this one is certainly special for me. More recently, I just recently acquired this one, in fact. This is another Maiko that was owned by a friend of mine, and I have lusted after this particular one for quite some time. So the Z-Finite blade steel, highly corrosive resistant, but the handle's just so clean, with a nice little touch of synthetic ruby here on the pocket clip. So I don't know if the lighting will catch it just right, but really, really cool piece. Really happy to have this one. Next, I just did a video on this micro Maiko not too long ago. Again, for a small knife, this thing is awesome. So great ergonomics, even in my big hand. But beautiful action, beautiful build quality, great anno work. Just really cool all the way around. I've also done a video here on this spinner model. This is one of his newer models, and this is quite a large model, Persian style blade. This one's done in the bark and crater finish, and with his favorite AEBL steel. But another exceptional piece. I'm trying to move these out of the way so that the focus finder doesn't mess up the picture here. But let's get into the rare pieces that are here on loan from my friend CJ. So, even Mike's normal custom pieces are quite hard to come by sometimes, and can get rather expensive depending on how or where you get them. So his quote-unquote regular custom knives are highly sought after, rather expensive, somewhat rare depending on who you know, how much you want to spend. But even among his pieces, there are those that are more highly coveted and even more rare, and we do have three of those in front of us. So we're going to be taking a look at these really, really interesting pieces. Let's go ahead and start out with probably the one that collectors would favor the most. This is a Maiko done. This is a bolstered Maiko done with black Damascus, kind of on a blue and bronze stonewash for the rest of the handle. Sculpted titanium clip. It's kind of got a gold anodized pivot here. Satin finish blade. but Mike does not do satin finish blades very often, so this one is quite rare for the satin alone. But then you couple that with the fact that this is the only bolster knife that he has ever made, and that makes this piece exceptionally rare. So amazing action on this one, if I don't miss, but just so smooth. Really, really cool piece. And in Mike's typical fashion, Mike tries to do things a little bit outside the box. So if you guys have seen, you know, Timascus before, black Timascus, it typically does not look like this. And what Mike has done is, I believe he did a bead blast and then he etched it afterwards. And so it has a different texture, it has a different look, a different color than your standard Timascus would, which is typically polished to really bring out the contrast, but then it scratches, you know, quite easily. So really interesting piece here on this particular Maiko. Some ceramic detent balls here in the pocket clip just as an added touch. So again, things that other makers don't use or wouldn't think to use, that's what Mike is all about. And you know, Mike, he doesn't take custom orders. He doesn't like to take custom orders. So he creates what he wants. It goes up for sale. And I think this knife is a perfect example of his creativity as a maker. So yeah, really exceptional collectible. I did not carry this one at all in the time that it's been here with me. I believe CJ does carry this one, but due to the rarity and the value of this knife, I just couldn't. I didn't even ask. Didn't want the responsibility. So, but yeah, really exceptional piece from Mike Gavko. Next, we'll take a look at one that I really like. This is a Maiko with a superconductor inlay. So let me try to focus here. So that piece right there with that really cool texture is actually superconductor. And so it's a, you know, it's a different cut of superconductor. I mean, if it's typically horizontal, it might have been a vertical cut, but you just get a ton of texture. And then instead of polishing it, which is what the way it's normally processed for knives, Mike went ahead and bead blasted and etched it to give it that really interesting pattern that you see here. It's very subtle. And it's very scratch resistant, but it's just enough to make this knife really interesting. That coupled with the bronze and the purple coloration and the hues, really exceptional piece. I like this one quite a bit. So another interesting fact, if you see that the pocket clip here has USA made, that is reserved for knives with the S90V blade steel, which is an exceptional steel for users. Mike doesn't, his favorite blade steel is the AEBL, and so if you do come across a Gavko S90V, it is going to probably cost you a little bit more. It's going to be more highly sought after by the collectors. So exceptional action on this one. Really well done. I really like this piece. So very cool. Yeah, really neat. All right, last but not least, this is also a very rare piece. If you guys have seen this shape before, of course you will remember my, well, maybe you'll remember my video on the Ferco Maiko collaboration. So, Michael Gavik did a collaboration with Ferrum Forge Knife Works. It was kind of dubbed the Ferco Maiko, and it used this particular handle and blade shape, which is truly outstanding. But before they did that collaboration, Mike made, I think, maybe 4 or 5 full customs of this knife, which is this one. So this is maybe 1 of 4, maybe 5 at the most. Outstanding design, beautiful lines. I would absolutely love to see him do more of this particular knife. If he can, or if he wants to, or if he will, that is a different story. But this particular one has a full zirconium show scale. And it is done in such a way that it brought out the blues. I think it was given like a tumbled, and then you can see the textured finish in there. Zirconium is typically polished as well to give it that rich, deep black, but of course Mike not wanting to do the norm and kind of think outside the box, did this really cool finish here. So again, I'm fairly certain that CJ does carry this one, and it really doesn't show any signs of wear, whereas typically zirconium has been known to be softer and scratch. So again, another finish to hide the wear. Black Timascus pocket clip there. Finished in pretty much the same fashion as this really cool bolster, as you can see there. So really interesting use of the materials, of course. And this zirconium show scale, zirconium is certainly heavier than titanium, and you can feel the weight on this knife a little bit, but amazing ergos. This one has great action, of course. Just really well done, as you would expect. But another really interesting thing is this backspacer here is actually mokume. So you can probably see some of the grain structure in that thing. But again, Mike not wanting to finish it the way that people would expect, which would be a polish. He went ahead and I'm assuming was probably like a blast or something as well. But this particular knife does have a backspacer that's quite different from his norm. This one is an example of kind of the normal backspacers. Another interesting thing is that every backspacer he does is somewhat unique. These two, as you can see, they're different. Let's grab two more Maikos here. As you can see, these two are different from those two. So again, just an example of Mike doing what he wants, being creative while doing it. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, if you guys can, you know, absolutely get your hands on a custom Gavko knife just to try it out. See what you think, see how you like it. I highly doubt that you will be disappointed by any aspect of the knife. Although if it's not your flavor, it's not your flavor, and that's completely fine. But as always, I'm on the hunt for other Maikos or macros, black tips. He has a new hammerhead model. He does have a new small that he just released not too long ago. A little larger version of this. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram, also under Epic Snuggle Bunny. Take care.